Hello, and welcome to another review by me, James Bowden from Southern Bible Institute. Today I'd like to review J.N. Postgate's book, Early Mesopotamia, Society and Economy at the Dawn of History. And right off the bat, let me say that I enjoyed this book really, really to a great degree. What J.N. Postgate does in this book really excels beyond many of the other books that I have read that are of a similar type, particularly that of Harriet Crawford's Sumer and the Sumerians, and I'll talk about that one later. However, just overall, I thought this was an excellent book. And I like the title. It just starts off right, as opposed to someone like A. Leo Oppenheim's book about Mesopotamia. His title is Ancient Mesopotamia, Portrait of a Dead Civilization. And of course that sounds rather depressing and really kind of morbid. However, J.N. Postgate's way of describing it as early Mesopotamia, the dawn of society, really engages me as a reader to think that he is going to be looking at things from a positive viewpoint, which he does. Now, Postgate's work goes into a fairly well-established genre of pre-existing books that are out there, which begin with a slightly chronological view of Mesopotamia and covers the civilizations up until about the Old Babylonian period. And then in the second half of the book, he speaks more of the institutions like marriage, law, the temple, also leadership and empires, those types of things. Now, originally, Harriet Crawford's book was the first one to do that, Sumer and the Sumerians. And it really started a trend that I think needs to be, at this point, changed. I like individual studies and covering those types of institutions. However, and this is the one failing of Postgate's book, the historian, and much less than the anthropologist, the historian cannot trace as well the development of society. When you're talking about something, let's say like the law, and comparing early dynastic law codes and then doing old Babylonian law codes, which were separated sometimes by as much as 1,000 years or nearly 1,000 years. And what you need to see is the evolution of those institutions so that you have a better understanding of how society has changed. In fact, I'm undergoing a study right now to determine those things. I'm doing intensive studies on the early dynastic period and going into the Akkadian period and Ur III period. And so this is being done so I can get a better look on the development of society and what radical changes were introduced, but also how those changes became actually institutionalized themselves. So again, it does fail in that one technical aspect where I'd really like to see the genre change and go into more diachronic studies where each and every institution is covered within its own chronological framework and not inside a mixed bag and smorgasbord of jumping from Ubaid period to Old Babylonian period and then early dynastic. So on that scale, I'm still a little not too happy. However, on the technical scale, his book is perfect. He has just the right amount of technical information. He also introduces enough text, extra text that are worked into his main framework to make it interesting. They actually relate probably much better to what he is talking about than Mark Van Meerhoop's textbook, which was kind of cluttered by extra little boxes with sometimes extraneous information, and you really just want to get on through the main text. And in fact, I'm an advocate of saving a lot of that for the appendices, because sometimes you don't have time to necessarily read over that information. Getting back to Postgate's work, has a lot of good diagrams and a lot of good information. Also, on a technical level, he kind of resorts to a middle path between probably what I would adopt, when I'm writing anything, any kind of paper or essay, where I will use Sumer and Akkad in their chronological framework. And as I said in one of my other review posts, that Meerut uses Babylonia just strictly all the way through. What Postgate does is he kind of strikes a balance, and he just merely calls it the land, which is a fairly good generic way to cover it and to really not step into that debate or that issue. So on the whole, I would say that technically it is a very good book. It will communicate to you very well. It is focused on Sumer and does only go up to the old Babylonian period and not beyond. So in this case, again, it was much better than Meerut's book, which, as I said, serves well as a bachelor's level book, as a survey level type of book for ancient Near East. However, Postgate's book is a much better book for more specific period studies, again, between Ugade and Old Babylonian. So I highly encourage you to pick up a copy of this book whenever you get a chance. Thank you for watching this, and you can follow me on Facebook at Bowden Institute of Antiquities Studies group. Once again, that's Bowden Institute of Antiquities Studies Facebook group. Hope to see you there.